After Ye Qingqing's death, she traveled through the novels of this era and became the protagonist's sister-in-law, Ye Qingqing, who had been humiliated and died in 1984. A big event happened in Bone Village, and the foolish person in the village, Lu Wen, who had been sleeping for half a year, suddenly woke up and regained his consciousness. Lu Wen's little daughter-in-law Ye Qingqing, who was constantly bullied by her husband's family, suddenly became disheartened. Whoever bullied her, she would not hesitate to fight anyone. On the first day, Ye Qingqing beat up her mother-in-law, father-in-law, and uncle who bullied her. The next day, she beat up her elder brother who attempted to kidnap her. On the third day, she planted landmines on the path that provocateurs must pass through to find her. Ye Qingqing. You want to bully me, beat me, and sell me? No way, no matter who you are, life and death are indifferent. If you don't agree, just do it. Male lead. Sister-in-law did the right thing, she is powerful. Lu Wen. My wife did the right thing. You're so amazing, my wife. If you hit someone else, don't hit me anymore. 1v1, Shuangjia Fierce and Beautiful Village Flower vs Love Brain, Black Belly, Fragile Prince. Keywords of the novel. Rebirth 80. The ferocious sister-in-law dressed as the male lead has no pop-ups. Rebirth 80. The ferocious sister-in-law dressed as the male lead. Complete download of TXT, Rebirth 80. The ferocious sister-in-law dressed as the male lead. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The fierce sister-in-law wearing the male lead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The fierce sister-in-law wearing the male lead. Ye Qingqing, you're really going too far. The sun was scorching your buttocks in the morning, and you didn't go down to work. You just lay in bed and slept in, but you even hit your mother-in-law. How could there be a woman like you who is unfilial, shameless, and lazy to burn snakes to eat? Ye Qingqing suddenly heard a loud reprimand and thought to herself that there are also people in the underworld who are so irritable. No, ghosts. Ye Qingqing slowly opened her eyes and saw a strange middle-aged woman with a fierce and evil expression on her face. At the same time, a memory flooded into Ye Qingqing's mind, and she was immediately stunned. Eyes full of shock. Time travel. Surprisingly, I wandered into a period novel I was reading before my death, and in 1984, I became the cruel sister-in-law of the male protagonist in the book. The original owner, also known as Ye Qingqing, is 19 years old and from Bone Village, Bone Township, Baishui County, Wuyuan City, Southern Province. Half a year ago, the grandfather of the foolish fellow villager Lu Wen bought the original owner as his wife for 1,000 yuan before his death. The day before the original owner was sold to the Lu family, Grandpa Lu Wen died in the morning. In the afternoon, Lu Wen accidentally fell and was injured, unconscious, and has been unconscious ever since. Lu Wen's parents and younger brothers used the excuse of the original owner, Grandpa Kafuk, to beat the original owner recklessly every day, treating him as a slave and making him do all kinds of dirty and tiring work like a spinning top, and often not giving him food. Due to Lu Wen's grandfather only paying half of the 500 yuan to the original owner's parents at that time, and the remaining 500 yuan in the hands of the village chief, the remaining 500 yuan will only be handed over to the original owner's parents by the village chief after the original owner and Lu Wen have lived together for 30 years. The original owner's parents were afraid that the Lu family would not want the original owner. In order to save the remaining 500 yuan, they allowed the original owner to be bullied by the Lu family. The original owner fled and was also caught by the original owner's parents and sent back to the Lu family. The original owner was beaten up by several younger brothers of Lu Wen for no reason this morning. After being knocked out of a tooth by Lu Wen's mother at noon, the original owner couldn't bear it anymore and started fighting with Lu Wen's mother. Although the original owner won the battle, causing Lu Wen's mother to run away and become a monk, the original owner was also seriously injured. He forced himself to return to his room and lay down for a while before the original owner died. And the reputation of the original owner's cruelty was due to the fight he had with Grandma Lu Wen just before his death, which was intentionally spread by Lu Wen's mother, Ye Qingqing. It's impolite of you to not greet me when you see me. Today, I'll teach you a lesson and teach you how to be a daughter.in.law for my elder sister. Before the middle-aged woman could finish speaking, she raised the bamboo pole with a thick arm in her hand and hit Ye Qingqing's face. Ye Qingqing snapped out of her thoughts and quickly rolled to the side of the bed. The bamboo pole emptied and hit Ye Qingqing heavily on the pillow she had just pillowed. Bitch, how dare you hide? Look at me and I won't kill you. The middle-aged woman angrily took back her bamboo pole and hit Ye Qingqing in the face. Ye Qingqing quickly rolled out of bed and kicked her in the chest. The middle-aged woman was kicked back 2 steps by Ye Qingqing. As soon as she sat down on the ground, Ye Qingqing casually picked up the blanket from her bed and jumped out of bed, covering the middle-aged woman with the blanket. You're a slut, you want to bully someone even if your mouth is not clean, beat you to death. Ye Qingqing roared low and activated the beating mode towards the middle-aged woman, bowing from left to right under the blanket. The sobs of a middle-aged woman kept coming out. Oh my! You dare to beat me, bitch! Stop it, or I will have my son come and kill you. Bitch, oh bitch, stop it, I will definitely have my sons come and beat you to pieces. Come on, your son, I'll beat him 1, I'll beat him 2, I'll beat him a pair. I can't stand seeing such a wicked witch like you. Ye Qingqing spoke fiercely, increasing the strength in her hand. According to the original owner's memory, the old witch under the blanket is called Chao Guifang. She is 48 years old and is the biological sister of the original owner's mother.in.law Chao Guixiu. She often follows Chao Guixiu to beat and bully the original owner. The regret of the original owner before his death was that he did not beat up all the people who had bullied her. Now that Chao Guifang, who had bullied the original owner, has fallen into his own hands, he naturally needs to treat her well and vent his anger for the original owner. At the same time, in order to dispel the resentment left by the original owner on this body. 2 minutes later, just as Chao Guifang was beaten up by Ye Qingqing, she cried and begged for mercy from her father and mother. The footsteps and roars of Chao Guixiu's second son came from outside the door. Ye Qingqing, little slut, you want to die, don't you? You dare to hit my mother. You, the cruel and shrewd daughter.in.law who beats her mother.in.law, should be beaten to death. Ye Qingqing listened to the sound outside, stopped and lifted the blanket covering Chao Guifang's body. She raised her hand and patted Chao Guifang's left and right shoulders twice. Chao Guifang looked at Ye Qingqing's actions and thought it was because Ye Qingqing was scared. Chao Guifang was so painful that she lay on the ground and couldn't get up. She even suppressed the pain all over her body and looked at Ye Qingqing, saying harshly, Ye Qingqing, you're done. My second nephew is here, let's see if she won't kill you. You, a malicious woman who dares to hit her mother.in.law, won't say a word even if the village chief and your parents are beaten to death. You're doomed today. Ye Qingqing gave Chao Guifang a fearless glance and raised her hand to touch her stomach, which was painfully hungry. To deal with outsiders, one must also fill their stomachs. If she didn't eat anything to replenish her energy, Ye Qingqing felt that she would also starve to death and leave with her original owner. According to the original owner's memory, in this era of scarcity, the Lu family was even more impoverished. Everything that the entire Lu family could eat, including sweet potatoes, was locked in the cabinet of her room by Chao Guixiu. Ye Qingqing immediately ignored Chao Guifang's presence, took 2 steps to the window, flipped through the window, and left Chao Guifang lying on the ground, feeling both pain and anger. More than 10 seconds later, Ye Qingqing went to the woodshed and took an axe, standing outside the window of Chao Guixiu's room, reaching out and preparing to open the tightly closed window. Before Ye Qingqing's fingers touched the window, it suddenly opened on its own. The next moment, a yellow-skinned little boy appeared in Ye Qingqing's eyes. As soon as Ye Qingqing saw the little boy's face, his message immediately came to mind. Lu Yun, 7 years old, the male protagonist in the world of this era, and also the only friend of the original protagonist in the Lu family. The only person in the Lu family who has lived a more miserable and pitiful life than the original owner is him. Usually, when Lu Yun and the original owner approach Chao Guoxiu's room, they are beaten by the Lu family, so Lu Yun never approaches Chao Guoxiu's room. How did Lu Yun appear in Chao Guoxiu's room today? Too hungry, before filling her stomach, Ye Qingqing didn't want to speak. She didn't ask anything and quickly flipped through the window into Chao Guoxiu's room. Immediately, Ye Qingqing arrived at the locked large cabinet next to the bed at the fastest speed, raised an axe, and smashed it at the lock on the large cabinet. With a loud bang, the lock on the large cabinet fell to the ground. Ye Qingqing clamped the axe under her armpit and opened the cabinet, glanced at the contents, picked up a bag of malt milk powder, tore it open, and poured it into her mouth. I started eating malt milk directly. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Underpayment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Underpayment. Ye Qingqing went in less than 10 seconds from flipping through the window to eating malt extract. Looking at the scene in front of him by the window, Lu Yun was stunned and quickly ran to Ye Qingqing's side. His small face furrowed into a flustered tone and he whispered in a panic, "Sister-in-law, how could you break the lock? The commotion of you smashing the lock is so loud that second brother and his team must have heard it. Now second brother and his team won't let you go. You lie in bed and keep talking about wanting to eat candy. I secretly opened the cabinet with a needle and stole some rock sugar, which will be delivered to you soon. How did you do these things? What should we do now?" As Lu Yun spoke, he took out a few yellowed earth rock candies from his pocket and handed them to Ye Qingqing for a look. Ye Qingqing ate half a pack of malt milk powder in one breath, then glanced at Lu Yun and the rock sugar in his hand, which were anxiously spinning around, and flipped through the memories of the original owner. The original owner had indeed been nagging about eating candy before his death. I never expected that this little one would be quite kind to the original owner, willing to take the risk of being beaten up to steal candy for the original owner. Unfortunately, the original owner is already dead. I will never get this candy again. Seeing Ye Qingqing staring at him silently, Lu Yun said, "Why don't you quickly open the window and run away, sister-in-law? You can run back to the mountains, hide in the mountains, and then find a chance to leave the Bone Town and go south. After that, never come back." A few days ago, the village head and his elder brother returned from the county town and said that there is now some reform and opening up. Many outsiders have gone to the south to earn a lot of money, and you should be able to earn money and live a life in the south. As soon as Ye Qingqing heard Lu Yun's words, she reached out and stuffed the rock sugar in Lu Yun's mouth. She leaned closer to Lu Yun and whispered, "Lu Yun, you can eat this rock sugar, I won't eat it. I'll take your heart, and I won't run through the window now. Don't panic, don't be afraid. Your brothers won't let me go, I won't let them go. If they come to attack me, I'll fight them. Anyway, I'm not afraid of them wearing shoes when I'm barefoot, and life and death are indifferent." After hearing Ye Qingqing's words, Lu Yun frowned and said anxiously in a low voice, "Sister-in-law, why don't you run quickly? My strength is too weak and I can't help you with a fight. My second brother is such a sturdy person. How could you possibly withstand a fight with them alone? Anyway, it's important to run and save your life first. Just listen to me, I don't want you to die." Before Lu Yun could finish speaking, Chao Guoxiu's second son arrived outside Chao Guoxiu's room, cursing and kicking the door with a loud bang. "Ye Qingqing, open the door quickly, you bitch. You dare go to my mother's room to beat the lock and steal things after beating my mother. You are looking for death. If you don't open the door and wait for me to kick it in, I'll beat you so hard that you can't even pull it out of the soil." Lu Yun glanced at the entrance and dragged Ye Qingqing's tattered clothes towards the window, saying, "Sister-in-law, hurry up, hurry up." As soon as Lu Yun finished speaking, the originally closed window was punched to pieces by someone. The next moment, Lu Yun's 20-year-old third brother flipped through the window and jumped into the house. Brother Lu Yun looked at Ye Qingqing's stunningly swollen face, which couldn't be concealed. With a hint of lust in his eyes, he pounced on Ye Qingqing with a lewd expression. Upon seeing this, Lu Yun immediately stood in front of Ye Qingqing and lifted his short leg to kick Lu Yun Sangu with force. Brother Lu Yun is over 1.9 meters tall and weighs over 200 pounds. He has been suffering from long-term malnutrition and is unable to lose weight. With a height of less than 1 meter, Lu Yun's short legs kicked on his body, which is no different from scratching, and has no power at all. After being kicked by Lu Yun, Brother Lu Yun didn't even frown. He reached out and grabbed Lu Yun's shoulder, lifting him up like a chick. Immediately, Lu Yun casually threw him aside and said, "Little rabbit, wait for me to deal with Ye Qingqing, this slut, and I will deal with you." After throwing Lu Yun out, Brother Lu Yun continued to pounce on Ye Qingqing without hesitation. He grabbed Ye Qingqing's chest with both hands and shouted loudly, "Ye Qingqing, you little slut, you want to run? There's no way. If you dare to violate my filial piety and hit my mother today, let me deal with you." According to the original owner's memory, Lu Yun, this third brother, has been an old pervert since he was young, and has molested many beautiful girls and daughters-in-law in the village. He has long coveted the original owner and has repeatedly harassed him in an attempt to bully him. Last autumn, when he went to the town grain exchange to pay public grain, he bullied a little girl and was caught by the girl's family on the spot, breaking his hands, feet and ribs. He lay in bed for more than half a year before barely getting out of bed. He only recovered well a few days ago. I didn't expect that the injury on his body happened just right, and surprisingly, his lust started to rise again. It seems like I owe you another beating. Ye Qingqing detested the shameless lecherous old rascal like Lu Yun the most. She saw that Lu Yun's salty pig hand was about to pounce on her towering chest. Ye Qingqing quickly leaned over and narrowed her eyes slightly. She picked up the axe sandwiched under her armpit and turned it around. The sharp blade of the axe met Lu Yun's salty pig hand. Instantly splattered with blood on the spot. Ah! Brother Lu Yun let out a terrifying scream, and his entire body fell to the ground along with the palm that had left his right arm. Oh, oh! My hands! Lu Yun, the third brother, had his finger chopped off by a husband before for sneaking a peek at a young daughter-in-law taking a shower. He knew his hand was broken and picked it up in time to go to the county hospital where he could still connect it. Brother Lu Yun didn't care about stopping the bleeding on his arm injury, so he quickly cried and crawled towards the broken palm that fell on the side. Today, Ye Qingqing was determined to deal with dog men like Lu Yun Sangu when he saw a big, chubby rabbit and mouse at the foot of the bed not far away. Ye Qingqing took 2 steps forward and kicked the severed palm on the ground towards the big mouse, while also saying to the big mouse, "You look so big and special. I'll treat you to a meal of meat. You don't need to thank me." As soon as Ye Qingqing finished speaking, the severed palm was kicked and flew in front of the big mouse. The big mouse seemed to understand Ye Qingqing's words and crawled into the bed with the severed palm in its mouth. 2 seconds later, the big mouse crawled into a crack in the innermost wall under the bed, holding its severed palm in Lu Yun's sight, and disappeared. Only the sparse movement of mice nibbling on things kept coming from the wall where the big mouse had disappeared. Upon seeing this, Brother Lu Yun was so angry that his forehead veins were bulging and his whole body trembled uncontrollably, spewing out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Brother Lu Yun kicked open the door of Chao Guoxiu's room and entered, coincidentally seeing the scene of Brother Lu Yun spraying blood. Brother Lu Yun's pupils shrank in fear, and he immediately looked at Ye Qingqing. Seeing that the axe in her hand was still dripping blood, he met Ye Qingqing's murderous gaze. Lu Yun's second brother immediately mistakenly thought that Ye Qingqing was being forced to jump over the wall and fight desperately, and used an axe to chop Lu Yun's third brother and spit blood. Just like Brother Lu Yun, Brother Lu Yun didn't even think about the reason for his vomiting blood in the direction of anger. Looking at the miserable appearance of Brother Lu Yun and the bleeding axe in Ye Qingqing's hand, Brother Lu Yun was so scared that he couldn't bear it. Brother Lu Yun was afraid that Ye Qingqing would suddenly go crazy and attack him. He hadn't lived enough yet. I don't want to die. Brother Lu Yun quickly retracted his legs that had just entered Chao Guoxiu's room, turned around, and ran. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Bury Me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Bury Me. Lu Yun, the third brother, saw that his own brother had come and that he had become like this, but he didn't even ask himself a question and ran away. Out of anger, a mouthful of blood spurted out again. Ye Qingqing watched the scene and was about to speak when Lu Yun suddenly got up from the ground and kicked Ye Qingqing fiercely, shouting, "I'll kick you to death." Ye Qingqing was an orphan in her previous life and was adopted by a Taoist priest in a Taoist temple. She grew up practicing martial arts with the monks day by day in the temple, and her soul's subconscious reaction ability is super fast. Without any panic, Ye Qingqing quickly took a step back and raised her axe to meet Lu Yun's leg. Brother Lu Yun's physique was strong and his legs were thick, but he couldn't beat the axe. With a crisp click, Brother Lu Yun's leg was broken by the axe. As soon as the axe in Ye Qingqing's hand left Lu Yun's leg, he immediately swung it again and used the back of the axe to hit the non-lethal part of Lu Yun's body. Dead color batch, see how I deal with you. Dead perverted dog man. 2 minutes later, Brother Lu Yun returned to the entrance of Chao Guoxiu with a group of villagers who had heard the commotion and came to the Lu family to watch a play. Everyone saw Ye Qingqing, like a madman, wielding a bloody axe and violently beating up Brother Lu Yun, leaving him covered in blood on the brink of death. The scene was too bloody, and a few timid people in the crowd were immediately scared out. The village chief of Bone Village, who was walking at the front of the crowd, saw the situation and quickly spoke out loudly, scolding Ye Qingqing, "Ye Qingqing, what are you doing? Stop quickly." Upon hearing this, Ye Qingqing thought that he had beaten Lu Yun almost to death. Killing someone is illegal, and he couldn't really beat Lu Yun to death. Ye Qingqing stopped and placed the axe and blade horizontally around Lu Yun's neck. She turned her head and looked at the village chief at the door with a deliberately bold expression, saying, "Village chief, you came just in time. As I saved your eldest son's life when I was a child, could you please bury me later when I die? Ye Qingqing, hold your axe steady. If you have anything to say, please speak up and I will make the decision for you. You are still young, so don't say such things." As soon as the head of Bone Village finished speaking, Lu Yun's father, who was standing next to the head of Bone Village, quickly spoke up, "The head is right. Ye Qingqing, hold your axe firmly. If there is anything you need to say, you can tell us. We are a family, and the third brother is also your younger brother. You." Ye Qingqing didn't want to listen to Lu Yun's father's nonsense, so he immediately interrupted him by saying, "Mr. Lu, I don't have an old pervert like Lu Laosan. My whole family is a mess. When did you ever treat me like a family? If you're saying one word, I'll immediately send Lu Laosan to see Prince Yen." Ye Qingqing said this, and with a slight exertion of her hand, the axe blade cut into the skin around Lu Laosan's neck, making him afraid to move. Lu Yun's father dare not say a single word when he sees this. Ye Qingqing saw that Lu Yun's father had stopped talking and no one else had spoken nonsense. She looked at the village chief with a look of grievance and cried, "Village chief, the first time I was beaten by Mr. Lu and Mr. Lu came to see you, you said you would make the decision for me, but I haven't seen you make the decision until today. I won't believe your words." The village chief didn't expect Ye Qingqing to say such words in public, which made him look embarrassed. His face immediately darkened. Ye Qingqing ignored the change in the village chief's expression and continued to say on her own, "Since I married into the Lu family, everyone has been watching me. Every day when the rooster crows, I wake up to work, and in the middle of the night, I am still grinding. Every day, I have to be beaten and scolded by the Lu family. My injuries are not good, and I can't eat enough. Sweet potatoes are even willing to give me a bite to eat every day, so I have to eat wild vegetables. My man is an unconscious and lifeless person who can't even give me hope for his children. I have been procrastinating when I asked the village chief to make decisions for me, and no one has given me a way to survive. I can't bear these days anymore. My life is really hard. Even if I marry a living dead person, my parents-in-law and uncles will force me to death. In my next life, I must be reborn as a man. I won't be a woman anymore. Being a woman is really hard, and being a daughter.in.law is even more difficult. Being a daughter in.law who cannot have children is even more difficult. As Ye Qingqing spoke, she pretended to casually lift up her tattered pants with a mournful expression, revealing various new and old injuries on her calves. According to the original owner's memory, the people in Bone Village highly value men over women, and the common belief among the villagers is that the water splashed out by the married daughter. There are only a few women who have not been polished by their mother.in.law's family before marrying into their mother.in.law's house. The little daughters-in-law at the door have all been polished to varying degrees by their mother.in.law's family. Ye Qingqing's words hit the heart of the married woman present. The married women present were looking at the scars on Ye Qingqing's legs, not sure if they really felt sorry for her, or if they thought of their own experiences. Immediately, a married woman wiped away her tears and said, "Yes. Being a woman is difficult, and being a daughter.in.law is even more difficult. Ah, why are our women's lives so miserable? Ye Qingqing is really bitter, even harder than my old scalper. Even if Ye Qingqing dies, she really has no hope in life. A man is a living dead person, and even a son and a half daughters cannot give her. No matter how many years she has endured, she will just be like this." A young daughter.in.law even muttered in a low voice, "Ye Qingqing did a good job, they are really bullying too much. Ye Qingqing is such a hard-working and pitiful person, they can even beat her so hard." The village chief listened to the voices of the women behind him and saw them all standing on Ye Qingqing's side, his face turning black with anger. Upon seeing this, Ye Qingqing lowered her head and a hint of success flashed in her eyes. She looked up at the village chief pitifully and said, "Village chief, don't forget what I've been bothering you with. Thank you very much." Before Ye Qingqing could finish speaking, she immediately lifted her axe and made a gesture of wanting to kill brother Lu Yun. As soon as the axe left Lu Yun's neck, he, driven by a strong desire for survival, dragged his body at a speed different from that of an ordinary person, causing injuries and rolling before leaving Ye Qingqing. He then got up and ran away. Ye Qingqing deliberately showed an unexpected expression and was stunned for 2 seconds before holding an axe and chasing after Lu Yun San Gu, crazily chopping. "Lu Lao San, you old pervert, don't run away. I'm your sister.in.law, and you're all coming to beat me. See if I don't kill you. Lu Lao San, stop and I'll fight with you. I'm worth 1,000 yuan, but I don't believe I can't catch up with you, you old pervert and chubby guy. Help, the village chief's father and second brother, help. Dad, save me, I don't want to die." Brother Lu Yun cried and howled on the ground, desperately avoiding the axe in Ye Qingqing's hand. Every time the axe seemed to be about to strike brother Lu Yun, it cleverly fell into the air. The village chief watched this scene and quickly spoke out to stop it, but Ye Qingqing didn't even bother him. Ye Qingqing chased after Lu Yun San Gu and ran around Chao Guoxiu's room. Lu Yun San Gu ran out of Chao Guoxiu's room, and Ye Qingqing followed closely. Everyone at the door was afraid of being injured by Ye Qingqing, so they dispersed before Lu Yun ran out. The scene suddenly became chaotic. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Bullying the soft and fearing the hard guys. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Bullying the soft and fearing the hard guys. 1 minute later, Ye Qingqing chased after Lu Yun San Gu and found an opportunity to directly hit Lu Yun Gu and Lu Yun's father with the back of the axe, chasing after the non-lethal positions on Lu Yun Gu and Lu Yun's father. According to the original owner's memory, the Lu family belongs to the second brother of Lu Yun and his father who fought the most against the original owner, and they also hit the hardest. Both household and field work in the Lu family are done by women, and men are just like local emperors who idle around eating, drinking, prostitution, and gambling every day. Their young bodies have long been emptied by alcohol and sex. The original owner was skilled in various tasks every day and ran even faster. In no time, Ye Qingqing caught up with Lu Yun's second brother and Lu Yun's father and beat them up. Due to Ye Qingqing holding an axe in his hand and looking carefree, Lu Yun's father and son had a bad relationship in the village, and no one went to help them. Everyone was busy avoiding being accidentally injured, allowing the two to be beaten up. Only the village chief kept scolding Ye Qingqing, attempting to stop him. After a while, the village chief shouted so loudly that his voice was almost hoarse. He stopped when he saw that Ye Qingqing still didn't listen to him. The village chief felt that his authority had been provoked, so he immediately took out a pistol from his pocket and aimed it at Ye Qingqing's arm holding an axe. Ye Qingqing had long known the temperament of the village chief from the original owner's memory and had been secretly guarding against him. Seeing him take out the robbery, Ye Qingqing immediately pretended to be unconscious and hid behind a well-known old man in the nearby village. The gun in the village chief's hand moved with Ye Qingqing's figure and aimed at the kind-hearted person, who saw it. The old man immediately asked loudly, "Village chief, why did you move your gun?" Ye Qing, the young man Ji Xiao, is not sensible. Don't argue with her, she didn't cause any harm. I don't think her thin and weak body can harm Lu Erwa and Lu Lao too. Maybe she won't be able to run soon. Upon hearing the old man say what he wanted, Ye Qingqing beat up both Lu Yun's second brother and Lu Yun's father. Ye Qingqing immediately climbed down the ladder, no longer chasing after Lu Yun's second brother and father. She stood in place, using an axe as a crutch and gasping for breath. The old man saw this and immediately said with full confidence, "Village chief, you see, I'm right." Ye Qingqing stopped. At this moment, the parents of the original owner, along with their brothers, uncles, and other family members, arrived in a fierce manner. Before the mother of the original owner could even enter the crowd, a stern voice came in from outside the crowd. "Mr. Lu, do you think my Ye family is empty? How dare you hit my Ye Qingqing?" As soon as Ye Qingqing saw the family members of the original owner outside the crowd, she knew she didn't need to care about the rest of herself. They would never let themselves die now, no matter how mistreated the original owner was by the Lu family, in order to sell the remaining 500 yuan from the original owner's money. According to the description in the book, after the death of the original owner, the mother's family of the original owner came directly to demolish all the houses of the Lu family due to the loss of the 500 yuan, and even beat up the Lu family severely. When it comes to the interests of the original mother's family, they are all quite tough. As Ye Qingqing thought, as soon as the family of the original owner entered the crowd, they immediately ran to protect Ye Qingqing in front of her. Immediately, the mother of the original owner, along with her brother and others, fiercely questioned why Lu Yun's father and his second and third brothers were bullying Ye Qingqing. The two sides quickly quarreled and even started fighting. The original owner's father ran to the village chief and whispered to him. Ye Qingqing saw with sharp eyes that the original owner's father had secretly stuffed a pack of cigarettes into the village chief's hand. The original owner's wife, who looked the gentlest in her family and had the best relationship with the original owner, also came to greet Ye Qingqing with concern and said, "Ye Qingqing, how do you feel? Does the wound on your face still hurt?" Ye Qingqing was speechless. Her face was now swollen and bruised, and there were bloodstains on it that had not scabbed since being scratched by Chao Guixiu not long ago. "Is it still painful or not? How could the terrifying Lu family bully you like this? They are really going too far, but don't be afraid, Ye Qingqing. We will support you now and keep it safe so that the Lu family won't dare to bully you in the future. Don't think about killing those people. You have a backup, we." Ye Qingqing watched the performance of the original owner's sister. In law and knew that she didn't really care about the original owner. She was just a smiling tiger. The reason why the original owner was sold to this fool, Lu Wen, was that she was secretly matchmaking and bridging. The original owner was so bullied by the Lu family last time that he couldn't bear it anymore, and his mother's family didn't care about him either. The original owner was forced to flee because his sister-in-law secretly informed the original owner's parents, which led to the original owner fleeing to the county town and being caught and sent back to the Lu family. Ye Qingqing didn't want to listen to her nonsense. She immediately shook the axe in her hand, which was still dripping blood, in front of the original owner's sister-in-law and whispered, "Don't say such grandiose nonsense. You can make sure I don't want to die. You prepare 200 yuan to secretly give it to me within an hour. This matter cannot be known to anyone. Otherwise, I'll invite you to accompany me to meet the King of Hell. Anyway, my life is not as good as death, and I'm not afraid of death." The original owner's sister-in-law did not expect Ye Qingqing, who had always been kind and gentle, to say such sharp words. Looking at the axe in Ye Qingqing's hand, the original owner's sister-in-law's face turned pale with fear. She quickly stepped back 2 steps away from Ye Qingqing and was about to speak. Ye Qingqing took the lead and looked into the eyes of the former owner's sister-in-law with murderous intent, whispering, "Don't think I don't know what you've been doing in secret. You've been behind the scenes when I married Lu Wen. You told me the last time I ran away, and it was all you who caused me trouble. It's only natural for me to drag you to hell together. Whether to give money or accompany me to death, you can choose for yourself." After Ye Qingqing finished speaking, she turned around and left without waiting for the original owner's sister-in-law to answer. The original owner's sister-in-law looked at Ye Qingqing straight and indifferent back, followed him for 2 steps, looked at the sharp axe in Ye Qingqing's hand, and immediately turned around to run towards the original owner's mother in the crowd, who was fighting against Lu Yun's father. Ye Qingqing listened to the commotion behind her and turned to look at the back of the original owner's sister-in-law, giving a mocking smile. A bully who fears the hard. "Sister-in-law, are you okay? You happen to be amazing, you dare to hit them." Ye Qingqing turned her head to look at the sudden appearance of Lu Yun beside her, shook her head slightly, and whispered, "I'm fine." Watching Lu Yun's short leg just scraped by his third brother's fall, Ye Qingqing took Lu Yun back to Chao Guoxiu's room and dug out the good medicinal wine that Chao Guoxiu had specially bought for Lu Yun's second brother to treat his injuries. He then began to deal with his own and Lu Yun's injuries. After Ye Qingqing and Lu Yun had treated their injuries, they took the malt extract and canned red peaches from Chao Guoxiu's room and ate them to the fullest before leaving. The battle between the original mother's family and the Lu family has stopped, and the father and son of the Lu family have all been beaten down. As soon as the mother of the original owner saw Ye Qingqing, she immediately shook the paper with her hand printed on it and said, "Ye Qingqing, this is a guarantee letter signed by your father-in-law and children. They promise that they will never hit you again in the future. You can rest assured to serve Lu Wen and live a good life at the Lu family in the future. Don't think about anything that won't die. I have also discussed with your father that when your sister-in-law gives birth to this fetus, if it is a male child, he will adopt you as his son. If it's a baby girl, let your sister-in-law continue to give birth until your son is adopted by you. The children will be taken care of and kissed by whoever they are from a young age. This way, you will have a future, and when you grow old, there will be people to support you." Ye Qingqing didn't believe the guarantee letter written by Lu Yun, the third brother, who had his hands, feet, and ribs broken because of bullying the little girl and wouldn't change his dirty nature. That's all for coaxing ghosts. Ye Qingqing doesn't want to adopt any children. Not to mention the child of the original owner's sister-in-law, a human-faced beast heart person. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Is this still an ancient person? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Is this still an ancient person? Ye Qingqing immediately said in public, "I don't want to raise a baby or adopt someone else's child. I have already decided to raise Lu Yun and let him care for me in the future. Also, I will take Lu Wen and Lu Yun to separate families and go out alone. When Lu Yun's father heard Ye Qingqing say he wanted to split the family, he thought to himself that if Ye Qingqing were to be separated, who would do the work that belonged to Ye Qingqing in the family? This year, we have more Ye Qingqing at home, and we have opened up more than 2 acres of wasteland. Ye Qingqing is a skilled worker with nimble hands and feet. She can farm more than cows and is also skilled at household chores and cooking. Especially when it comes to cooking, Ye Qingqing's dishes are particularly delicious. Ye Qingqing couldn't distinguish anymore, and Lu Yun's father, who was lying on the ground on the brink of death, was the first to refuse. No way. Separation is not possible. As the saying goes, parents and elders don't separate families. Your mother and I haven't died, so how can we separate families? I disagree. You don't agree, that's okay. Either you guys kill me now, or I'll find an opportunity to drag one of you to hell together. It's best for the 3 of you to sleep with your eyes open. As Ye Qingqing spoke, she put down the axe that was on her shoulder and shook it in her hand. With a predatory gaze, she scanned Lu Yun's father, second and third brothers back and forth, as if choosing who to accompany her to hell. Lu Yun's father had just been chased by Ye Qingqing with an axe and was really scared of being chopped, looking at Ye Qingqing's appearance. Not afraid of thieves stealing, but afraid of thieves thinking, Lu Yun's father reluctantly agreed to split the family and said, "Divide the family. After the separation, you are the only woman and that little brat from Lu Yun in your family. There is no man leading the way, and I will wait and see others take care of you." Upon hearing Lu Yun's father's words, Ye Qingqing sneered and said, "It doesn't matter. In the future, the one who is not afraid of death wants to bully me. Just come, if it's too big, everyone will die together." You. Lu Yun's father didn't know what to say, and Shanshan shut up. As long as Ye Qingqing doesn't seek death and lives with Lu Wen until she can receive the remaining 500 yuan, the original mother doesn't care about anything else. Upon hearing that Ye Qingqing was going to take care of him, Lu Yun decided to take him and Lu Wen out for a solo trip. Ye Qingqing laughed so hard that he couldn't even close his mouth, and was so excited that he bounced around in place. Lu Wen nodded his head like pounding garlic. Lu Wen also constantly assured Ye Qingqing that he would be filial to her when he grew up, and that he would definitely provide her with retirement when she grew old. In this way, under the witness of the village chief and several respected elderly people in the village, Ye Qingqing, Lu Wen, Lu Yun, and Lu Yun's father separated their families. The original owner's mother's family was afraid that Ye Qingqing would receive too little and would seek survival, and strongly demanded that Lu Yun's father distribute the house, property, and land equally according to the Lu family's population. The Lu family is too poor. According to the average distribution of population, Ye Qingqing, Lu Wen, and Lu Yun were only given the dilapidated thatched houses where the 3 of them currently live. 3 acres of land and 1 acre of land cost 1.36 cents. And Ye Qingqing held an axe, a kitchen knife, a hoe, 2 wooden pots, as well as 15 pounds of sweet potatoes, 10 pounds of potatoes, 5 pounds of corn flour, 1.5 pounds of rice, an old hen, 4 benches, 3 rice bowls, a pot, and a few pairs of chopsticks. There's nothing else left. The original owner had not eaten a bite of meat for several years, and had not eaten rice for more than half a year. Ye Qingqing now looked at the old hen and rice, so greedy that she wished she could eat them raw. Ye Qingqing immediately looked at the old hen and said to Lu Yun, "Go burn some hot water on the fire, and I will kill the chicken right away. Let's eat that chicken. I haven't eaten meat for years." Lu Yun, like Ye Qingqing, has not eaten meat for several years. The only family that usually eats meat is Lu Yun's father and his second and third brothers. Lu Yun has no share. As soon as he mentioned meat, Lu Yun's mouth watered with envy, and he immediately ran to set fire. The mother of the original owner on the side saw this and immediately said to Ye Qingqing, "This is not just a holiday for the Chinese New Year. What kind of chicken do you eat? This is too extravagant." You really don't know how to calculate. Keep it, raise it, let it lay eggs, and save the eggs to sell and subsidize the family. How good would it be? Ye Qingqing was about to answer when suddenly a loud noise came from the direction of the side room. It seems like something heavy has landed. Ye Qingqing thought someone was stealing the rice, potatoes, corn flour, and sweet potatoes that he had just taken to the side house to put away. In these days, the villagers were all poor, and sweet potatoes were also stolen. Ye Qingqing quickly abandoned the original owner's mother and turned to charge into the side room. A few seconds later, Ye Qingqing rushed to the door of the side room and kicked it open. I saw that Lu Wen, who was originally lying unconscious in bed, actually woke up and fell off the bed, lying on the ground, struggling to get up by pulling the edge of the bed. Ye Qingqing. What's going on? According to the description in the book, wasn't Lu Wen still in a vegetative state until more than a decade later when Lu Yun was found by his biological parents and adopted his ancestors? Why is he waking up now? What's going on here? However, Lu Wen is really handsome and has straight facial features. If he were to wear a pair of golden-rimmed glasses, he would look like a proper cultured scumbag. Lu Wen's figure is also very good, very stylish, with smooth lines. It looks really pleasing to the eye, but his shorts are too torn, and there are actually many small holes on them. According to the original owner's memory, in order to prevent Lu Wen from lying down for a long time and causing physical problems, the original owner would give Lu Wen a body scrub and a full body massage before going to bed every night. For the convenience of cleaning Lu Wen's body every day, I am too lazy to take off his clothes and put on clothes for him every day. The original owner only gave Lu Wen a pair of shorts on a regular basis. Upon hearing the commotion, Lu Wen looked towards the door and saw a woman approaching. He quickly reached out to cover his chest. Seeing Ye Qingqing staring intently at his shorts, Lu Wen quickly put down his hand to cover his lower body. His handsome face instantly turned red, and he angrily and urgently scolded Ye Qingqing, "Be reckless, get lost. I had someone gouge your eyes while looking around." Ye Qingqing looked at Lu Wen, a little daughter-in-law who seemed to have been teased by hooligans, without any foolishness. As he spoke with an unusual aura, Ye Qingqing frowned instantly, feeling that something was wrong with Lu Wen. His appearance cannot be displayed by a fool. I thought to myself, isn't this Lu Wen the same as me, with a different soul in his body? Otherwise, how could he have this reaction? Ye Qingqing immediately entered the house, casually closing the door and inserting it into the tip of the door. He stared at Lu Wen and looked up and down recklessly, saying indifferently, "Why go? You still want someone to dig my eyes, Lu Wen? Are you crazy? I am your legitimate wife who has obtained a marriage certificate and worshipped heaven and earth. Don't say I'm just looking at you now. As long as I think, I'm sleeping with you now, that's just natural. No one can say a word about me. Don't cover your hands, cover your farts. We've been married for half a year, and I take showers and massage you every day. Is there any part of you that I haven't seen or touched before?" Upon hearing Ye Qingqing's words, Lu Wen's expression instantly cracked and he couldn't believe it. "What? You said we worshipped heaven and earth, but you still touched. How could this be possible?" When Lu Wen said this, he didn't know what came to his mind. His expression changed and he stared at Ye Qingqing, questioning, "What is your relationship with the emperor?" Ye Qingqing. "Emperor? What emperor? Sleeping trough, is this still an ancient person?" Ye Qingqing's mind twitched, thinking that even a modern person from the 21st century could come here, and perhaps even the ancients could come. Ye Qingqing immediately sat down on the stool next to Lu Wen. Just as she was about to catch Lu Wen's words, the door was slammed with a loud bang. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Good Men with 3 Adherences and 4 Virtues. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Good Men with 3 Adherences and 4 Virtues. Ye Qingqing immediately sat down on the stool next to Lu Wen. Just as she was about to catch Lu Wen's words, the door was slammed with a loud bang. At the same time, the original owner's mother's puzzled voice came from outside the door. Ye Qingqing, what happened inside the house? You dead girl, why did you still close the door? Open the door for Mom quickly. Who were you talking to earlier? The sound insulation in this room is not good, and the footsteps outside the door are also increasing, which means that many people are coming. Now it's not suitable to put on someone like Lu Wen. In order to prevent Lu Wen's secret from leaking and affecting himself, Ye Qingqing gave up the current trap and immediately rushed out of the door and said loudly, Mom, don't knock on the door. It was Lu Wen who woke up and fell out of bed. I was just talking to him. Lu Wen is wearing a pair of shorts, and when I find clothes to put on for him, I will open the door for you. After Ye Qingqing finished speaking, regardless of the reactions of the people outside the door, she leaned closer to Lu Wen and whispered, if you don't want to be seen naked by outsiders, let me help you get up and put on your own clothes. Also, there are no emperors in this place, and I don't care who you are. Now that you are in my territory and your identity is that of Ye Qingqing's man, you must listen to me and not do anything that is unfavorable to me. If you dare not listen to me and do things that are not conducive to me, how can I deal with you? Ye Qingqing said this and even pulled out the axe that was pinned to his waist, deliberately shaking it in front of Lu Wen. Thinking that the ancients were particularly superstitious, and the people of this bone village were also superstitious, Ye Qingqing's eyes rolled and she even muttered, anyway, you used to be a well-known fool. If you provoke me, I will say you have been possessed by a ghost. You are not the original fool, Lu Wen. You will bring disaster to the villagers and let them burn you to death. Lu Wen looked at Ye Qingqing with a fierce and serious expression, then at the axe in Ye Qingqing's hand, and nodded silently. Upon seeing this, Ye Qingqing believed that Lu Wen had acquiesced to his words. He put away his axe and grabbed Lu Wen's shoulders, forcefully dragging him onto the bed. Although Lu Wen fell asleep for half a year and lost a lot of weight, he is actually an adult man of 1.85 meters, with a large skeleton and quite heavy body. Ye Qingqing was busy dragging Lu Wen onto the bed, only to find that since her hand grabbed Lu Wen's shoulder, Lu Wen's face had become increasingly red, his ears had also become increasingly red, and a hint of shyness had flashed in his eyes. Ye Qingqing dragged Lu Wen to the bed and sat down. Looking at Lu Wen's handsome face, Ye Qingqing couldn't help but quickly reached out and touched his face, ate some of Lu Wen's tofu, and finally flipped through Lu Wen's clothes in the bedside cabinet according to the original owner's memory. Ye Qingqing turned her back to Lu Wen, and Lu Wen raised his hand and placed it on the face he had just been touched by Ye Qingqing. Her eyes were full of shyness, with a strange glow in them. A few seconds later, as Ye Qingqing flipped out a suit of clothes from the cabinet and was about to turn around, Lu Wen quickly let go like a thief and put away the strange light in his eyes, sitting obediently on the bed like a little daughter. Lol. Ye Qingqing turned around holding the clothes that had been flipped over, but didn't notice anything unusual about Lu Wen. She threw the clothes directly to Lu Wen and said, "Put them on quickly." Lu Wen nodded silently, picked up the clothes given by Ye Qingqing, flipped them over, and put them on himself. Looking at Lu Wen's clumsy way of dressing, Ye Qingqing was certain that Lu Wen rarely did it himself before. It seems that this guy used to be a pampered person, thinking that she and Lu Wen are still nominally married now, and that he may be more or less implicated in anything. Ye Qingqing couldn't help but whisper, "Lu Wen, there are so many people outside now, and people from almost half the village have come. If you don't want to cause trouble, it's best to be careful when speaking later. Speak less, and more words will be lost. Also, there are only me, Ye Qingqing, and your younger brother, Lu Yun, who treat you as relatives in this family. The rest of us are people who wish you would die sooner. Just now, I also took you, Lu Yun, and your parents and younger brothers to separate their families and have a single pass. Everything, including the house, food, and land, has been divided. If you can't handle anything that makes me unhappy, I'll just throw your and your share of the family property together and divorce you. Ye Qingqing was afraid that Lu Wen, an ancient Chinese, would not understand the meaning of divorce, so she added, divorce means divorce. Upon hearing the words, Hu, Lu Wen's eyes darkened instantly. He paused as he buttoned his clothes and quickly blushed, whispering, I know everything you said. I just remembered everything from before. I know who is good to me and who is bad to me. Well, since you have already seen through my body and my innocence has been destroyed in your hands, then you are my wife's master, Lu Wen. Don't worry, I am also a man who understands the principles of 3 obediences and 4 virtues. I will be a good husband and will never do anything that is unfavorable to you and makes you unhappy. Don't think about Hu's affairs. Ye Qingqing. Is innocence ruined? A good man with 3 obediences and 4 virtues. Wife owner. Husband. Sleeping slot. These comments sound like they're from the kingdom of women. In her previous life, Ye Qingqing had read many novels about the kingdom of women and had some understanding of it. Upon hearing Lu Wen's words, Ye Qingqing excitedly ran to Lu Wen's ear and whispered, Lu Wen, can you honestly explain that you are from the kingdom of women? Feeling the warm breath of Ye Qingqing hitting his ear while speaking, Lu Wen felt a sensation of his ears being scratched by something furry, and his face instantly turned even redder. Lu Wentong blushed and nodded honestly, yes. As soon as she received a positive answer, Ye Qingqing's eyes lit up and she immediately asked eagerly in a low voice, is it really a man giving birth to a child in your area? What's the difference between the man's body structure there and your current body? Is there anything more or less? Are all the men in your area really very delicate in their bodies, unable to lift their shoulders or carry them? Also, is it true that the couples in your area sleeping in the bridal chamber are men sleeping in women or women sleeping in men? Do the women in your area look the same as me? Or are they missing any organs? Your place. Every time Ye Qingqing asked an additional question, Lu Wentong's face became even redder, and the shock and embarrassment in his eyes also increased. Lu Wen really didn't expect Ye Qingqing to be so bold. He could say anything in broad daylight, even asking about obscure things that couples can only mention at night, such as entering the bridal chamber. Just as Lu Wen's face was burning hot and he was at a loss, shocked and embarrassed, not knowing how to answer Ye Qingqing, the door was slammed again. Ye Qingqing, haven't you dressed Lu Wen yet? Why are you so ink-stained? End of this chapter. Can chapter 7 be abandoned? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can chapter 7 be abandoned? Hurry up and open the door. I saw my son in law and I have to go back and busy weeding in the field. Ye Qingqing. Ye Qingqing. What did you do? Open the door quickly. Upon hearing the sound of knocking on the door and the impatient voice of the original owner's mother, Lu Wen immediately spoke to Ye Qingqing in a low, somewhat embarrassed voice, Ye Qingqing, there are still many people waiting outside the door, and your mother is also urging you. You should go and open the door first. Wait. Can I answer your question when nobody is around tonight? Ye Qingqing listened to Lu Wen's deep and magnetic voice, and looked at the shy little expression on his handsome face. Ye Qingqing was completely fascinated by Lu Wen. I just feel that my luck is really good. I actually met a handsome guy who loves to blush and be shy. Ye Qingqing immediately reached out to pinch Lu Wenhong's hot and handsome face, and nodded with a smile, okay. No problem, I'll listen to you. I'll go open the door now. Ye Qingqing particularly likes the blushing and shy look on Lu Wen's face now. Of course, Ye Qingqing also liked Lu Wen's normal and refined demeanor with a cold face. After speaking, Ye Qingqing lowered her head and kissed Lu Wen's forehead. Lu Wen didn't expect Ye Qingqing to kiss him in broad daylight, and was instantly stunned. He widened his eyes and stared blankly at Ye Qingqing. My eyes are full of shyness. My already red face turned red all the way to my neck, and even my ears turned red. It looks like a little white rabbit waiting to be bullied. Ye Qingqing looked at Lu Wen's appearance and suddenly had a special idea in her heart. Make Lu Wen cry. In Ye Qingqing's mind, she had already imagined the appearance of Lu Wen being made to cry. Ye Qingqing. Did you hear me? Open the door quickly, what are you doing? Listening to the voice of the original owner's mother coming from outside the door, Ye Qingqing snapped out of her thoughts and lowered her head to hold on to Lu Wen's face, kissing him fiercely twice before whispering, I'll be cleaning you up tonight. After Ye Qingqing finished speaking, she didn't wait for Lu Wen to answer. She let go of Lu Wen and walked towards the door, like a scumbag who wouldn't recognize anyone when she put on her pants, with graceful steps and no hint of nostalgia. Lu Wen looked at Ye Qingqing's back and lowered his gaze, his eyes darkening. I don't know what came to mind, but a sly smile curved around Lu Wen's mouth. As soon as Ye Qingqing opened the door, the original owner's mother took the lead and rushed into the room, heading straight for Lu Wen. Then, the villagers who came to join the fun also entered the room. In less than 5 seconds, the narrow room was packed with villagers. The mother of the original owner at the front of the crowd quickly looked at Lu Wen and asked hypocritically, Lu Wen, are you awake? How are you feeling now? Do you feel uncomfortable in your body? During your coma, Mom is very worried about you. Before the original mother could finish speaking, Lu Wen yawned in public and casually grabbed the bedside blanket to cover his head. The next moment, Lu Wen's sleepy voice came from under the blanket. Baby, I'm going to sleep. The original mother saw the situation and had to stop talking. A villager next to the original owner's mother mocked and said, what a little fool. My mother-in-law sleeps without answering any questions. Just now, Ye Qingqing hasn't opened the door in the house for so long. I thought Lu Wenqing wasn't foolish to wake up. It seems like I was overthinking. I'll just say, how could someone like Lu Wen who is unlucky not be foolish? As soon as the villager spoke, someone immediately spoke in agreement and said, isn't that right? I just had the same idea as you. Now it seems that a fool is a fool, but Lu Wen, this foolish short-lived ghost, hasn't died yet. He's really lucky. Ye Qingqing took care of her shortcomings. She had already been unwilling to listen to the village people calling Lu Wen a fool. Now that the villagers were saying that Lu Wen was a short-lived ghost, Ye Qingqing couldn't bear to hear it anymore and immediately pulled out the axe that was pinned to his waist to pound the door. The sound of dong attracted the attention of everyone in the room except for Lu Wen. Ye Qingqing immediately pointed an axe at the villager who had just said that Lu Wen was a short-lived ghost, and said seriously, what kind of fool is not a fool? In the future, when I hear anyone say that Lu Wen is a fool or a short-lived ghost, I will turn him into a short-lived ghost. Lu Wen is my man, Ye Qingqing. Whoever bullies and looks down on him is bullying and looking down on me, Ye Qingqing. Whoever looks down on and bullies me, Ye Qingqing, I will work hard with anyone. The villager who just said that Lu Wen is a short-lived ghost didn't expect Ye Qingqing to be so tough and protect Lu Wen, this fool. The scene where Ye Qingqing chased after Lu Yun's father and brothers with an axe and pounded them earlier was also seen by the villagers who just said that Lu Wen was a short-lived ghost. He didn't want to be chased and pounded by Ye Qingqing with an axe. The villager who just said that Lu Wen is a short-lived ghost immediately showed a pleasing smile to Ye Qingqing and said, Ye Qingqing, I'm really sorry. I was just joking. I didn't mean to say anything bad about your Lu Wen. I apologize to you. I'm sorry. Don't worry, I will never speak ill of your Lu Wen again in the future. You'd better be like this. Ye Qingqing said coldly, and then kicked everyone out, citing that Lu Wen had just woken up and needed a good rest. The villagers present didn't want to provoke Ye Qingqing, so they hurriedly left the room, leaving only the original owner's mother. After the last villager left, the mother of the original owner took out a small booklet from her pocket and stuffed it into Ye Qingqing's hand. She whispered, you follow the instructions on the booklet to Lu Wen at night, and soon you will have a doll. No matter what Lu Yun is doing, he won't be as good as your own baby. Upon hearing the words of the original owner's mother, Ye Qingqing immediately curiously opened the booklet in her hand. Seeing the contents of the booklet, Ye Qingqing's old face instantly turned red. Don't be fooled by Ye Qingqing's ability to play pranks on Lu Wen, just like an old driver. In reality, Ye Qingqing only has rich theoretical experience. In his previous life, he was single from mother to fetus until his death. Don't be shy, you're already married. Who made you stand up like a fool? This thing was specially found for you by your sister. In law after spending 5 pounds of grain, 3 feet of cotton, and 1 pound of white sugar. Ye Qingqing, you see how kind your sister. In law is to you. Isn't it okay for you to stand here properly now? The matter has come to an end, and even if you have already married Lu Wen, you can't change it. Do you think you can ask your sister. In law for the money first? Don't you want it, okay? For people like the original owner's mother who didn't get up early for no profit, Ye Qingqing knew she had a request to make as early as when she took out the booklet. Ye Qingqing immediately put the booklet back into the hands of the original owner's mother and said coldly, I don't want the booklet. Let her deliver the money to me on time, otherwise I will make you lose 500 yuan. Whether to give me 200 yuan, you'll get 300 yuan, or 500 yuan, you can't give me a penny. You can choose for yourself. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. A Born Perfect Match. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. A Born Perfect Match, you rebellious girl. The original mother saw Ye Qingqing's stubborn face, so she wanted to be tough and raised her hand to hit Ye Qingqing's face. Ye Qingqing directly pulled out the axe pinned at her waist and lifted it to block her face. Faced with the sharp axe and blade, the mother of the original owner's hand, which was raised in mid-air, abruptly stopped and looked at Ye Qingqing with a fierce expression. She cursed softly, Ye Qingqing, you little slut. I am your mother. How dare you point the axe at me? Are you thinking to death? Why did I give birth to an unfilial daughter like you? You weren't like this before, did someone tell you something? Thinking of Ye Qingqing's filial piety from childhood to adulthood, she deliberately entrusted all the money she had secretly saved to herself before running away last time, but now she the original mother immediately looked at Ye Qingqing with a skeptical expression on her face. Apart from Ye Qingqing being secretly incited and deceived by others, the original owner's mother really can't think of how Ye Qingqing, who has always been filial, weak, and willing to be bullied by others, suddenly became frustrated and dared to confront her even if she was not filial. Faced with the skeptical gaze of the original owner's mother, Ye Qingqing immediately took a step back and made a look of guilt. Her eyes dodged and she didn't dare to look into the original owner's mother's eyes. She glanced randomly and said, no one said anything to me. Upon seeing Ye Qingqing's appearance, the mother of the original owner became even more convinced of her speculation. She immediately put down her hand and wiped away her tears, playing a romantic card with Ye Qingqing. No matter how much the mother of the original owner questioned, Ye Qingqing completely denied it. Just as the original owner's mother was about to give up getting the answer from Ye Qingqing whispered, Mom, I promised my sister. In law about this matter, so don't ask anymore. It's useless for you to ask. I won't tell you. As soon as Ye Qingqing finished speaking, the original owner's mother showed a sudden realization expression and murmured to herself, so it was her behind the scenes. Look at how I deal with her, you dare to confront me. The mother of the original owner muttered and stormed out the door in a fierce manner. Ye Qingqing looked at the back of the original owner's mother as she left, showing a sneer. The mother and sister. In law of the original owner got into a fight, no matter who lost or won, they were all venting their anger on the original owner. Thank you for maintaining me just now. Upon hearing the sound, Ye Qingqing turned her head and saw Lu Wen lifting the blanket, revealing his eyes staring at her with a burning gaze, still full of admiration. Lu Wen saw that Ye Qingqing was looking at him and continued to look at her with admiration in his eyes, saying, Ye Qingqing, you just picked up the axe and looked very beautiful. You are very heroic and graceful, like a mighty general. You are very powerful. Ye Qingqing listened to Lu Wen's words and looked at his admiring gaze. Her heart suddenly felt happy. I thought to myself that he and Lu Wen were a perfect match by nature. He used to resort to violence when he couldn't reason, and he admired women who resort to violence. Ye Qingqing immediately stepped forward and reached out to lift the blanket, pinching Lu Wen's face and saying, "That's natural. I'm your Lu Wen's wife, I must be strong." Ye Qingqing spoke and whispered in Lu Wen's ear, "Thank you for those words. Don't tell me any more. We are husband and wife, and we don't need to be so polite between them. I can also see what you did just now. If you want to continue pretending to be foolish, just pretend to be foolish. I will cooperate with you and protect you." Lu Yun went to kill the chicken with Ye Qingqing, and when he ran to the door, he saw Ye Qingqing and Lu Wen intimately whispering together. Lu Wen quickly raised his hand to cover his face and eyes, but couldn't help but peek through his fingers at Ye Qingqing and Lu Wen. A few seconds later, Lu Yun discovers that Ye Qingqing still doesn't know he's coming, thinking about delicious chicken. Lu Wanton swallows his mouth and says, "Sister, after the fire, the water is also on, and you are ready to kill the chicken." Ye Qingqing was busy whispering to Lu Wen when she heard Lu Yun's voice and realized that he had arrived. Lu Yun is only 7 years old this year. Regardless of his intelligence, early maturity, talent, or intelligence, in the eyes of Ye Qingqing, he is just a little brat. Fearing to harm the child Lu Yun, Ye Qingqing quickly sat up straight and asked Lu Wen to lie down and rest well, then followed Lu Yun out of the room. As soon as Ye Qingqing left the side room with Lu Yun, she noticed that Lu Yun looked at her with a hesitant expression, frowning like a sad little old man. "Why are you like this, Lu Yun?" Ye Qingqing asked curiously. "Just our friendship, just tell me what you have." After hesitating for a while, Lu Yun asked with a worried expression, "Sister-in-law, will you still let me follow you when you and big brother have a baby?" Upon hearing Lu Yun's words, Ye Qingqing knew what someone who was talkative had said to him. When Ye Qingqing asked, she did find out that when she was in the side room just now, the original owner's sister-in-law went to see Lu Yun and told him that she would have her own child soon. She then abandoned Lu Yun and said many things to sow discord with him. Just now, when Lu Yun came to find Ye Qingqing, he also met the original owner's mother on the way. The original owner's mother also told Lu Yun that Ye Qingqing would soon have her own child. If Lu Yun knew the truth, she would quickly find a place to go and leave Ye Qingqing. "Sister-in-law, I didn't believe what they said. I know you didn't take me apart for the sake of my house, land, and property. You took me apart together to help me escape the bullying of my parents. However, I'm not sure if you'll let me follow you after you have your own baby, so I'll ask." As Lu Yun spoke, he lowered his head with a worried expression and perked up his ears to listen to Ye Qingqing's answer. Ye Qingqing looked at Lu Yun's uneasy little appearance and raised her hand to rub the hair on his little head, saying, "Don't worry, I said I will keep raising you. I will also raise you when I have my own children in the future. Unless you don't want to follow your sister-in-law anymore, or if you do something that harms her, she will definitely not abandon you." Having obtained the desired answer, Lu Yun's furrowed eyebrows instantly relaxed, revealing a naive smile, and happily ran around Ye Qingqing. "Sister-in-law, you are so kind. Don't worry, I will never do anything to hurt you. Sister-in-law believes in you." For Ye Qingqing, raising Lu Yun is just a piece of cake, treated as a good thing. Ye Qingqing and Lu Yun came to the kitchen chatting and laughing, only to find Chao Guixiu pulling out the burning firewood from the stove. "Chao Guixiu, what are you doing?" Chao Guixiu was startled when he heard Ye Qingqing's questioning. Chao Guixiu turned around to look at the door, and as soon as he saw Ye Qingqing, he suddenly felt that the flesh on his body was starting to ache again. The fight between the original owner and Chao Guixiu before his death was fought with a heart full of determination, and it really devastated Chao Guixiu. In an instant, Chao Guixiu wanted to get up and run. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Skilled at Dreaming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Skilled at dreaming in an instant, Chao Guoxiu wanted to get up and run. However, before arriving at the kitchen, with Lu Yun's father and Lu Yunguo's order, Chao Guoxiu had to grit her head and put on her mother-in-law's pussy. What are you asking me for? Ye Qingqing, are you blind? Of course I'm annealing, and now it's not a meal. What kind of fire and water to burn? It's a waste of firewood. Don't even think about killing and eating that old hen, Ye Qingqing. You have to keep it and let it lay eggs for me and your father-in-law to eat. Although you have taken Lu Wen and Lu Yun to separate families and go solo now, I, Chao Guoxiu, am still your mother-in-law Ye Qingqing and Lu Wen and Lu Yun's mother. Since ancient times, daughter-in-law and son should be filial to the elderly and listen to their words. They should give all the delicious food at home to the elderly, so now you, Ye Qingqing, must also listen to my arrangements, otherwise sooner or later you will be struck by lightning, Yoho. You are quite good at dreaming, Chao Guoxiu, in the blue sky and white sun. Ye Qingqing snorted coldly and strode forward, pulling out the axe from his waist and pointing it at Chao Guoxiu, saying, I'll give you two choices now. Either you immediately put the firewood back into the stove, and you'll stay in front of the stove and burn the fire until the chicken is cooked. Either. Ye Qingqing shook the axe in her hand before saying, I'll use this axe to beat your back, be filial to you, and let you experience how your sister Chao Guifang feels now. As soon as Ye Qingqing finished speaking, a painful cry from Chao Guifang came from the adjacent hall in the kitchen. Ouch! Oh my mom! Ouch! Ouch! Chao Guoxiu listened to Chao Guifang's painful cries and instantly felt even more pain in the area where Ye Qingqing had beaten her, so she immediately shrank her neck. But just listening to Ye Qingqing's words and doing things like this, Chao Guoxiu felt too embarrassed. As a mother-in-law, how could she be restrained by her daughter-in-law? It's too embarrassing to spread it out. Chao Guoxiu's eyes twitched, and he wanted to use his ultimate move. To throw tantrums and become a scoundrel. Chao Guoxiu quickly got up before he could sit on the ground. Ye Qingqing knew what Chao Guoxiu was going to do and directly hit him on the shoulder with the back of the axe. Oh my! Chao Guoxiu let out a painful cry and immediately became discouraged when he saw that Ye Qingqing had really arrived. Before Ye Qingqing could speak, Chao Guoxiu covered his beaten shoulder and sat down, putting the firewood he had just pulled out of the stove into the pond. He gritted his teeth in pain and said, If you want to make a fire, then make a fire. As your mother-in-law, if you want to cook now, I should give you a hand and make a fire. If you want to kill the chicken to eat, then kill the chicken to eat. You haven't eaten a bite of meat since you got married to our Lu family, so you can kill a chicken to make up for it. Now that Lu Wen has also woken up, you can take care of yourself and maybe give birth to a chubby grandson for me next year. Ye Qingqing looked at Chao Guoxiu's spineless cowardice and was too lazy to talk nonsense to him. Putting away the axe and pinning it on the waistband, Ye Qingqing took a few garlic from the stove for Lu Yun to peel, and then found a kitchen knife to catch the old hen and kill it. Chao Guoxiu felt heartbroken when he saw that Ye Qingqing had really killed the chicken. Although the chicken was given to Ye Qingqing, in Chao Guoxiu's heart, the chicken was still his own. The old hen has not been saved, so we need to bring some other things back to the room, otherwise we won't have to pay more for Lu Liang. Chao Guoxiu couldn't get along well with Ye Qingqing, so he caught Lu Yun's attention. As Ye Qingqing took the chicken to the kitchen to pluck its feathers, Chao Guoxiu showed a self-proclaimed amiable smile and whispered to Lu Yun, who was peeling garlic, Xiao Yun, it seems that mom has worked hard to raise you to such a large share. Later, you can secretly go and give the rice and corn flour that are distributed to you, and give the money to mom, okay? Only your mother and I are truly good to you in this world. Look at those students in the village school who sing only mom is good in this world. Your sister-in-law is just looking for your land and house, and she is not genuinely good to you. Lu Yun glanced at Chao Guoxiu and coldly refused, not good. You never raised me, it was all my grandfather who raised me. I was raised by my grandfather so much. You have thought about me dying many times. The day before yesterday, you pushed me into the cesspool. If it weren't for my sister-in-law picking me up in time, I would have drowned a long time ago. If you treat me well, no one will treat me badly in the world. My sister-in-law is the best person to treat me in the world. Lu Yun spoke angrily, looking at Chao Guoxiu with hatred in his eyes. Lu Yun couldn't figure it out. As both sons of Chao Guoxiu, why did she only love her second and third brothers because of a few words from a fortune teller, and only want to die on her own? I just want to live, she doesn't even want to live. Faced with Lu Yun's hateful gaze, Chao Guoxiu's heart skipped a beat and she suppressed her anger as she continued, Xiao Yun, you misunderstood Mom. Mom never wanted you to die. The day before yesterday, Mom was just teasing you. Isn't there nothing wrong with you now? Don't argue with your mother about such small matters. If you take all the things Mom said to you and wait for the second half of the year when school starts, Mom promises to send you to school and let you go to school, don't you really want to study? Mom has seen you hiding outside the school several times to watch students attend classes, and you often use charcoal to practice writing on stones. Chao Guoxiu thought that drawing this big cake could tempt Lu Yun, but he didn't expect Lu Yun to refuse without hesitation. Chao Guoxiu used all his tricks to deceive Lu Yun into stealing the food money from Ye Qingqing and the others. No matter how Chao Guoxiu tried to deceive him, Lu Yun remained unmoved. In the end, Chao Guoxiu saw that he couldn't really deceive Lu Yun, so he angrily cursed at him, Lu Yun, you little slut, short-lived ghost little slut. The fortune teller was indeed right. You are a nemesis, a disaster, and unreliable. Now that you are young and disobedient, you will anger your mother and me to death. Only when you grow up and can trust you can you be blamed. You're a crooked person who only helps outsiders but doesn't help your own parents. Why don't you go to die? Go to die with your old and immortal grandfather. Now that our family is so poor, it's because of you, the disaster star. If you still look at me with this kind of gaze, your eyes will eventually go blind. Lu Yun, don't be proud, your children will definitely treat you the same way you treat me in the future. When you have an unfilial son, you will know your mother and I are suffering now. Feng Shui takes turns, and God will not let go of such an unfilial son like you. When you were first born, I should have thrown you into the urinal and drowned you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been angry or suppressed by your unfilial son now. God, hurry up and strike lightning to kill you. Ye Qingqing had just plucked half of the chicken feathers when she heard Chao Guoxiu scolding. She immediately entered the kitchen and saw Chao Guoxiu spitting and cursing at Lu Yun. Just like cursing the enemy who killed his father. Lu Yun stared coldly at Chao Guoxiu, tightly clenching his small fist and letting Chao Guoxiu scold him. It looks pitiful. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Impatience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Impatience. According to the description in the book, Ye Qingqing knew that Lu Yun was actually very filial and a particularly filial good child. Before reaching adulthood, she also longed for Chao Guoxiu's maternal love. It's just that I don't know if it's because being the male lead requires going through some hardships, no matter how well Lu Yun treats Chao Guoxiu, until Lu Yun gives up on wanting Chao Guoxiu's maternal love. Chao Guoxiu has never given any maternal love to Lu Yun. Ye Qingqing takes care of his shortcomings. Since they both split the family with Lu Yun and said they want to take care of him, Ye Qingqing treats Lu Yun as a family member and his younger brother. Ye Qingqing immediately pulled out the axe from his waist and pounded the door, scolding, Chao Guoxiu, you are not allowed to scold Lu Yun. You also need to apologize to Lu Yun, otherwise I will use the axe to massage your back. Upon hearing Ye Qingqing's voice, Chao Guoxiu's whole body immediately froze. She couldn't help but cry inwardly. She was too angry just now and forgot that Ye Qingqing, the evil spirit, was right outside the door. She could hear her speaking a little louder in the kitchen. What a miscalculation. Chao Guoxiu glanced at Ye Qingqing at the door with an angry expression on her face. Her fierce expression instantly turned into a pleasing smile, and she looked at Lu Yun with a pleasing expression and apologized. Xiao Yun, I'm sorry, Mom was just too angry. Mom didn't mean to scold you. Lu Yun ignored Chao Guoxiu and turned his face to pretend that Chao Guoxiu did not exist. He buried his head and continued to peel the garlic from his hand. Chao Guoxiu saw the situation and could only look at Ye Qingqing with a pleasing expression on his face, saying, Ye Qingqing, I have already apologized to Lu Yun. You go and continue to pluck chicken feathers. Don't worry, Lu Yun is my biological son born in October, and I love him very much. I will definitely not continue to scold him. Humph, you better not scold him anymore. Ye Qingqing didn't trust that Chao Guoxiu and Lu Yun were alone, so she took the half-plucked old hen into the kitchen and plucked its feathers. With Ye Qingqing present, Chao Guoxiu would settle down and honestly be responsible for setting fire. A moment later, Ye Qingqing had just finished cooking the old hen when she saw through the kitchen window that Li Fangchao, the wife of Lu Shuang, the third brother of Lu Yun, was carrying a large basket of pig grass on her back, and her right hand was holding her daughter, who had just been born less than 20 days, into the yard. Due to the fact that Li Fangchao gave birth to a daughter, the baby she gave birth to in the morning was driven down to the ground by Chao Guoxiu to work and cut pig grass at noon. 10 days ago, Li Fangchao was so tired that she fainted in the field while weeding. Chao Guoxiu said she wanted to pretend to be lazy and fainted. That night, Lu Shuang beat her up, and that time broke her left hand. After Li Fangchao's left hand broke and it was inconvenient to go to the field to weed, the work of cutting pig grass at home fell on Li Fangchao's head. Ye Qingqing watched as Li Fangchao struggled to carry the pig grass and held the baby with one hand, feeling sorry for the original owner. This Li Fangchao is also quite pitiful. The woman who is still in confinement has her hands broken with a pig grass that is so heavy with her baby on her back. Chao Guoxiu saw Ye Qingqing staring out the window and also looked out. As soon as he saw Li Fangchao outside the window, Chao Guoxiu immediately looked dissatisfied and cursed, the third family is really lazy. It takes so long for the back-cut pig grass to come back, it's really useless. How dare you look so ugly on your face? Those who don't know might think that my mother has abused her. It's true, I need to have the third party scold her severely later. When I was born as the boss at the beginning, I started picking feces and doing physical labor the next day. Now let her do an easy job of cutting pig grass, it's like letting her put in hard work. It's really artificial, it's just a lack of effort. Ye Qingqing looked at Chao Guoxiu's displeasure and couldn't stand him. He immediately said coldly, Chao Guoxiu, you're just abusing her. In the future, as long as Li Fangchao is beaten by anyone, I will hit you twice, Chao Guoxiu. As soon as Ye Qingqing finished speaking, Chao Guoxiu's eyes widened in disbelief and he said, Ye Qingqing, what are you doing to help Li Fangchao, that little slut who can't give birth to a boy? You have no relatives or ties with Li Fangchao, why are you helping her? Because I'm willing to do it. Can you manage it? Chao Guoxiu was momentarily speechless and secretly complained in his heart. Now that it's bad, Li Fangchao is also going to turn the tables. Chao Guoxiu, hurry up and pick up Li Fangchao's pig grass on her back. As Ye Qingqing spoke, she took out the axe that was not on her waist and shook it in her hand, with a posture that if Chao Guoxiu did not follow her instructions, the axe would fall on him. Looking at the axe, Chao Guoxiu hesitated for a moment and immediately listened to Ye Qingqing's words, running out of the kitchen in a gloomy manner. Ye Qingqing also followed out of the kitchen. As soon as Li Fangchao saw Chao Guoxiu, his whole body trembled and his pupils shrank. A hint of fear flashed in his eyes, and he quickly said, Mom, I didn't mean to come back so late. Someone stole a part of the pigweed I cut, and I went to cut it again. I came back so late. Please don't hit me. Chao Guoxiu looked at Ye Qingqing holding an axe and thought to herself, I dare not hit you even if I want to. Chao Guoxiu wanted to scold Li Fangchao for picking up the pig grass on her back. The scolding reached her lips, and Ye Qingqing glanced at her. Scared, Chao Guoxiu quickly walked around behind Li Fangchao and said, "You from the third family, put down your backpack, and I'll take the pig grass for you." "How can this work?" "Mom, please move away and I can release it myself," Li Fangchao said with a worried expression, so anxious that she was almost crying. "I don't understand why Chao Guoxiu, who never gives herself a hand on weekdays, wants to give herself a hand today." Ye Qingqing looked at Li Fangchao and said, "Li Fangchao, don't worry, give her the basket. I asked her to pick it up for you." "You." Before Li Fangchao could finish speaking, she closed her eyes and shook her body before falling behind her. Li Fangchao has fainted again. Chao Guoxiu, who was waiting behind Li Fangchao to take the basket, was unprepared and fell to the ground under the pressure of Li Fangchao and the basket. With a loud bang, Chao Guoxiu fell solidly to the ground and was also weighed down by a large basket of nearly 100 pounds of pig grass and Li Fangchao. After Li Fangchao fell to the ground, the baby he was holding rolled out of his hand and let out a faint cry like a kitten. "Oh my! I fell and died." Chao Guoxiu tentatively pushed the pig grass and Li Fangchao that were pressing on her body, but found that they couldn't move. She quickly asked for help from Ye Qingqing. "Ye Qingqing, help me quickly, I'm going to be crushed to death." "Li Fangchao, you are really rebellious. You dare to fall on your mother and me. I think you did it intentionally. Later, I will divorce your third wife and divorce you, and ask your parents to refund the dowry." Listening to the faint cry of Li Fangchao's daughter, Ye Qingqing remembered that according to the description of the world in the book, Li Fangchao's daughter was not supported and died young before reaching full moon. Medicine and Taoism are inseparable. In her previous life, Ye Qingqing studied martial arts and medicine at the Taoist school. Ye Qingqing knows medical skills. Ye Qingqing ignored Chao Guoxiu and quickly approached to pick up Li Fangchao's daughter, giving her a physical examination. End of this chapter.